Namaskar and welcome to Kunli Consult once again. On 15th of December 2019, I put up a small blog on my Facebook page, and the title of the blog was The Beginning of the Turmoil, or I think it was The Turmoil Has Started. Now, why did I say so? After a long time, you had six planets coming together in one sign. The sign was Sagittarius. The sign was of fire. Interestingly, that sign has Mool Nakshatra or Nakshatra of Ketu in that sign, in Sagittarius. Now, Ketu is always an indication of end of something or start of something. Whenever something has to start, an end has to take place. Now, at that point in time, in that blog, one of the things that I mentioned was that in next few weeks, there will be war-like situation in many parts of the world. What I did not know or did not go deep into it was this war was the war of humanity against a disease. And by end of January, the news about this virus, coronavirus, COVID-19, had blown out of proportion from China to the rest of the world. In March, I started my YouTube channel, and there I said that this corona is far from over. And while some people were already talking about that with the summer the virus would vanish, I mentioned that this virus is here to stay, definitely till September end. And in further later on videos and in my Telegram channel, which I started somewhere around, I think, August or September, I mentioned that between 23rd of September and 20th of November, human beings or mankind will get a solution to this virus. I never said that the virus will go down or go away. Diseases never go. But the solution will come. And what happened was somewhere around first week of November, you had Moderna and Pfizer announce to the world that the vaccine is here. And then subsequently so many things happened. With the change of sign of Jupiter into Aquarius, 20th November 2020, I mentioned that this marks the beginning of financial turmoil which you are going to see in next year, 2021. Of course, these are bits and pieces of information that I gave, and I spoke about various changes that are going to happen in due course in this world in many different platforms. Today I'm trying to put this all together at one place. So what you saw as a start of conjunction of six planets in the sign of Sagittarius was a beginning of a change. Change in humankind, the way we perceive life, the way we perceive ourselves, our financial world, and finally our geopolitical situation in next 4 to 5 years. This period, which started from end of 2019, is going to last till 2000, roughly around 2024. And if I say, how do I mark it? It is from Jupiter's entry into Mool Nakshatra in 2019 to the entry of Jupiter in Aries sign in the Ashwini Nakshatra, when this full cycle will be completed in 4 to 5 years. And what do we see in this period? First, it was the corona which shook up the world. The world stood still. So, in that, as planets after planets passed through that sign of Sagittarius, accumulated there, in a sign where Ketu Nakshatra is there, Mool, Ketu's Nakshatra called Mool is there. Moola is where you go back. In simple word, it means where you go back to the basic. Mool in Hindi is going back to the basics. So what it did was basically is it asked humankind who was struggling in this rat race to start focusing on themselves, their health, their family, go back to the basics. So when you do not learn the lesson by yourself, nature has its own way to deliver in a way that we may not like. So, Corona essentially is the first part of that story, of that change, where the human thinking about its own self, its own health, its immediately family, and how do we deal with those circumstances, and what are the priorities that was or is being redefined. And you would have seen the human thinking about themselves, how we deal with life, how we deal with our family, has all started to change and changed a lot in this period of corona and lockdowns. The next after this is the financial turmoil. Now, when I give a period, and I've given a period of 2020, sometimes what happens during these trigger points in this periods is either the event happens or the seed of the events happen. And if you have followed my Telegram channel where I give bits and pieces of update, I mentioned about a month back that this at least the seed has been sown. And what you see as a small event like the Evergrande reality crisis in China is probably the seed which will now blow up and start blowing up in coming weeks and months into a big financial turmoil. And what would this lead to? The way we have started rethinking about ourselves with this corona, you will start seeing people who make financial disciplines, rules, and laws rewrite a lot of them after this financial turmoil. So it would be a relook at the financial systems. And next after this, which would be the last phase, would be relook at the geopolitical situation. And you have already seen some signals of that starting with the way some of the Middle East countries, I am not naming them, who were for so many years and decades enemies, have come and joined together, or at least given first sign of friendship. You have had a huge turmoil between China and US, and all these quad four countries coming together, new relationship forming is all the beginning of which will come after financial turmoil, and financial turmoil will also be a trigger to it, would be the geopolitical adjustments. And therefore, by 22 and 23 and 24, you will see these geopolitical changes, which will be the last of changes. So humankind will, between 2019 end and 2024, the thought process of human beings towards themselves, towards community, towards family would change. The view and outlook to finances will change due to financial turmoil. and the geopolitical situation will change, which will change relationships between nations. And I will not be surprised if some of the bigger prominent nations today lose their prominence. New groupings are formed, and indeed some of the countries see civil war and revolt and maybe parts split. And when I'm talking of revolt and parts split, I will not be surprised if that happens to China itself, which would be a big geopolitical event. So this is the sequence of event which is happening, which started from 2019 end, will last for 4 to 5 years, which will change the thinking of humankind towards themselves, finances, and geopolitical situation, and will last for another 30 to 50 years. I hope you appreciate the changes that we are going through, the changes that will happen, and therefore each one of us relook into our lives, what is happening in the environment around us, and take care of ourselves in these trying times and the times which will come. Do follow me or do subscribe me on YouTube channel if you have not subscribed so far. Follow me on the Instagram, so on the Telegram channel, where I put regular updates on various issues of astrologies, which is not possible to make a YouTube video every now and then. Thank you for watching my video. Once again, do subscribe to my Telegram channel for regular updates, and subscribe to YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed so far to get my YouTube videos. Thank you and namaskar.